Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
We're all here.
We're in the studio again.
Yeah, we're still Jokrano and Magic.
Jokrano and Magic.
Jokrano and Magic, mate. We're here to brighten up your day with
It's
some
very
some
hard
sick
to
tunes.
pronounce
Jokrano.
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 Supposed to be Jokrano, but that would be like AI. So English lessons with Jokrano and Magic.
Jokrano and Magic.
At least Magic is nice and easy to say, you know. Yeah.
Is it?
I think so. What do you mean?
I was having a discussion earlier
yacht.
today with a friend about the fact that like all of my internet names ever are literally just fucking made up bullshit syllables just
Excellent.
slapped together.
No meaning whatsoever. You didn't spend weeks and weeks trying to make sure you were saying magician of words right.
No, Jokrano was literally like, I had a different internet name, which I will not mention in case anyone goes and tracks down my past.
Okay, sure. Makes sense.
But I had that name and I went to like use it on Twitter when I first set up my account, and I was like, having numbers, because it had numbers in it, having numbers in that name, just like whatever. So I was just like, what's a cool name that I can just come up with on the spot? Let's go Jokrano. And I was like, yeah, that's great. And then I like made a Twitter account, I made a YouTube account, and I set them all up with the same username. And it's stuck with me forever. And I get very frustrated if anyone ever takes it, which so far nobody has. Don't take that as a challenge, please.
But then you also have Kartika.
Yeah, and that one was a account name that I had for...
Right?
No, it was for a friend's PlayStation 2.
Excellent.
Like in 2007 or earlier.
And it's stuck.
Yeah, I've used it on every game profile I've had ever since.
I mean, I have Magus, which is from back in high school when I was like, man, it was from year 12.
Yeah.
When I decided that, hey, Keiichi's a cool guy and I love Higurashi. It changed my life and stuff, whatever, it's not that big a deal. And then I was like, man, what if I put that in Latin? And I did, because I identify with the boys so much. I also have Snow Shark, which is because there was a particularly bad photo of me. I'm bad at photos. My smile, I'm told, looks like a shark's, apparently. So that's terrifying. And I don't know how. Somehow we got onto the topic of Calvin and Hobbes. There's an episode, one of the strips has little sharks swimming like through the snow, and like it's a snow shark. And now everyone was like, you're like a big friendly guy, and you got to smile like a shark. You're a snow shark.
I see. And
that's how I got that name.
I speaking of smiles, I used to be pretty bad at like putting on a smile for a camera as well. Yeah, I used to do like the wide toothy down thing, which herds of Ben rather Magis is doing across from me right now.
Whatever my name is, I'm a snow shark right now.
Yeah, but but I literally was like, man, I cannot smile in pictures. What is like the one case that I can smile in? And I'm like, all of the pictures of me actually smiling has been when I've been laughing.
Yes.
And that's obviously what they get you to try to do when they're doing like the whole 1, 2, 3 cheese thing or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Doesn't fucking work. I don't know why that stuck around for so long. But I was like, so all I need to do is I need to figure out how to freeze my face in the middle of a laugh. I just picture myself looking absolutely fucking insane, like forcing a laugh and trying to freeze it in the middle of laughing for like the longest time until I've actually figured out how to do it.
Yeah. That's how I do it as well. It's the easiest way. You start laughing and then you're like, oh, I'm still laughing, but
There's
I'm not
nothing
actually,
quite like forcing a laugh.
Oh boy. I'm okay at forcing laughs. It's
excellent.
A good time.
Anyway, Higurashi, right?
We're doing that apparently.
Yes.
I hear the kids want it.
So yeah, that was a very straightforward notepad compared to some of the ones we've had so far. It was literally just
pretty
like
chill.
Quoting almost what seemed like the last arc, like chapter.
Yeah. Just like giving us some insight into a young, infatuated lady's young mind. She watches what's going on in the world.
You're right.
That's all it is, really.
There's no delusion going on whatsoever.
No, she's just giving us her honest impression.
You're absolutely correct. The rainy season was just around the corner. Oh, I get it, because it just said the rain in the rain was... it's very clever. The rainy season was just around the corner, and the air had become so humid that my shirt stuck to my skin. It had been a few weeks since Satoshi couldn't stop showing up for baseball practice.
Oh, no.
I looked for him as soon as I arrived at the field. He's not here yet. Did I get here too early?
That is it.
I want to see him playing in the field right when I get here. I started arriving late because of those feelings. As some contradictory statements we've had just there.
But she's here because of her feelings. But she's not here also because of her feelings are the inner workings of a young maiden's heart.
However, he wasn't here today either. Dots.
Oh.
I didn't even bother hiding my disappointment anymore. Everybody knew by now how I felt. The team members from Mion's class came over to try and console me. But I shooed them away. Oh, what a letdown. I just love how, like, she's like, I need to hide and pretend like I'm Mion, and now she's just fucking giving up. It's like, you know what? Now Mion's in love with Satoshi. Suck it, sis. This is what everyone's gonna think of you now.
Get out of here, classmates. I don't even like you anymore. That's it. My name's Mion Sonozaki-san. What's going on, Sonozaki-san?
Also,
what is it? Tell me, Flex.
Did Irie ever refer to Mion as Sonozaki-san?
Oh. I have no clue.
Because I almost get the feeling that he knows exactly what's happening here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And he's just slyly slipping the Sonozaki in to just let it happen.
I would not be surprised. He's a wily coyote.
He knows too much. We got to get rid of him.
There's no music, is there?
There's no.
Oh, that's fascinating. What's going on, Sonozaki-san? As you're feeling sick?
Even Irie couldn't comfort me. I was aware that he too knew why I was like this. I'm going home. I don't feel like watching the practice today.
Look, we're having a meeting with the Okinomiya Titans later. I wanted you to be there because you're a manager.
Don't treat me like a manager. I never agreed to be one. Irie looked down, not knowing what to say.
All right. Please, help us again when you feel like it.
What a stand-up guy.
He's such a good boy.
And his sexual harassment.
But not as good as Satoshi, who does not have any sexual harassment anywhere near him.
Who let that line get through in translation?
I don't know. Someone
it's still bothering me.
Who's not okay with us having a good time.
Who let Ryukishi write that line?
I feel like that's the sort of thing you'd want to change in translation anyway. Because, like,
yeah.
I don't know, at least not phrase it like that. Phrase it differently. Even if it is technically true.
Maybe I won't be coming back. If you really need a manager, look for somebody else.
No.
I swear, I'm not looking at the screen, but if he's just said, like your sister, I'm going to be so happy. Okay, I'm disappointed.
Great. That'd be great. That's like the ending of the chapter, like your sister. And you just, I got chills.
Oh my god.
They're multiplying. Please do come again.
And I'm loose.
Take control. Whenever you feel like it.
Thank you. I was waiting. You really held that until to the nth degree.
Thank you. Satoshi will be sad if you're not here when he comes back.
Oh, that's bait.
Wow.
I ignored him and turned around.
Get wrecked.
I'd already set up my schedule with Mion, so I didn't have to ask her every time anymore. I tried to contact her a couple of times to ask how Satoshi-kun was doing in school, but I hadn't been able to get through to her.
I feel like it's years since we've spoken to Mion. It's been too long.
It has been. It's been a whole 2 chapters.
It's been too many chapters. Too many.
Apparently the hag had sensed that I might be in contact with Sis.
You know, whenever Mion's not on screen, we should be asking, where's Mion? You know?
Well, everyone asks where Mion is, but nobody asks...
Why Mion?
Exactly. In other words, Sis was being watched.
Oh, no.
As a result, it hasn't been easy to contact her.
Oh, that's why.
Kasai, who had been helping me contact her, seemed to also have been mocked. People knew he was loyal to me. I was about to say there's some real Yakuza shit going on, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they are the Yakuza. Good boy, Kasai. Best Yakuza. Tough.
I hadn't seen him for a while either.
Oh, no.
Neither had he seen his finger. All I could do was wonder how Satoshi-kun was doing. I was frustrated because there was no way for me to know. My head was filled with worries. But something surprised me out of the blue. What is it? Somebody called out to me when I was about to leave the field on my bike.
He was a sprite. Oh, it's the girl.
I gotta ride that fader here so he doesn't just destroy the equipment.
Hey, I looked straight up into the sky when I said that.
It was far too late, sir.
You know what? It's too bad. We're here now. We're in the best timeline. Oh, it's been too long. How long has it been since? Well, I guess since the end of the last chapter because we had the your class review session. But I haven't had to like voice her in the moment since like 2.5 arcs ago.
That's not even true.
Crazy.
I've heard you practicing this voice for fun in the interim.
Can't. You know, what are you talking about? I ain't found no opportunities to use this voice for nothing.
It's amazing being able to actually see you doing this. Normally, it's just like out of the corner of my eye, I see these like occasional movements, but now I'm looking dead on.
For those of you who are curious, I do have different movements that I use for each character.
We both do, but normally we don't get to see them.
It's true. Now we're like facing each other. We're on full display, and for Rena, it's a head bob, but it's kind of like a wave.
It looks like a bobblehead. It's
like
very
a
convincing,
going
really.
Back and forth. So
shout out to the guys on the security feed if they're watching this.
Someone's having a good time. I hope that whoever you are, security guy, I hope you have a big bucket of popcorn. You're having a good old time. They can see the screen too, like the side of it. Anyway, Mi-chan, hello.
I've never seen this girl before in my life.
And now your life's about to be a whole new one. A whole new life.
Luckily, she called me Mi-chan. There's only one person who refers to me on that way as far as I know.
They're besties.
It's Keiichi Maebara.
He's here. Oh, shit.
He's arrived. Rena, I'm surprised to see you here.
Me too.
Her name is Rena Ryugu.
Oh, damn.
There, I said it.
That's okay. It's in context now.
Her real name is Rena, but she wants to be called Rena.
She loves it. It's adorable.
We still haven't gotten like a justification for that outside of the fact that she wants to.
It doesn't matter.
And it's like,
important.
it's slowly dawned on me over the course of the series that like, of course there's going to be a reason for it. But I have
aren't important.
Absolutely no clue what it is.
I wouldn't worry about it. Shout out to Toxics. All right, now.
Shout out to what?
What?
Who?
Nothing. Nobody. No part of this story.
So that's what we call her.
Yeah, it's true.
I love how she inserts the royal we as though
That's what
she's
we
part
call
of
her.
everyone.
Yeah, I call her Rena because I know her and she's my friend.
Exactly.
Best friends.
She moved here in April.
Oh.
I added some information on her, but it was all ambiguous. Sis was still a bit uncertain about her since she's so new.
Interesting.
It was hard for me to handle someone like that. I didn't know how to act around her as Mion. So I decided to pretend to be in an obvious sulky mood. That way she wouldn't talk to me as much, assuming that Mion was simply feeling bad. That doesn't sound like...
That doesn't sound like Mion at all.
This sounds like
Mion
the exact
wouldn't be in that mood.
Opposite of what you want to be doing right now. Well,
that's how I am.
That's how I really am anyway.
Not okay. Not going to work.
No, this is bad.
Are you going home, Mi-chan?
Yeah, I'm not feeling well. Sorry.
Oh, let's go together then.
I wanted to say that I'd rather be alone, but there's only one road to Hinamizawa.
The high road.
So asking to be alone would look odd.
No, the low road?
I don't know.
The Rena road.
The only way to not seem suspicious would be to walk home with her.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, let's go. Rena quietly nodded. I unlocked my bike.
Awesome. I wish I had a bike that unlocked. Mi-chan, do you have an umbrella?
Nope.
It might rain soon, so let's hurry a bit since you don't have one.
How kind of her.
She's such a lovely girl. She's just hanging out with her friend.
As she predicted, we were attacked by pouring rain on our way.
Oh no. But where are you going, Mi-chan? Your house is this way. Not Inokinamiya.
I am so looking forward to who we are going to run into on the way here.
Oh boy.
Which family member will it be? We ended up taking shelter in a small shack in front of a bus stop.
Oh, are you kidding me? Blasted bus stops. Always get in the way. When
I love how,
like,
we just didn't address the bus stop for the entirety of the first 3 arcs, and then we've now had 2 in a row.
It's fantastic. Shout out to the origin of this entire story. Though, to be fair in that, it was different characters. Anyway. Well, one different character.
That's the first thing you've ever actually told me about the details of that play.
I mean, I ain't telling you nothing about it, but it's a good time.
Well, it's too late, you just did.
I'm not telling you nothing else. It's pollen, but it doesn't look like it's going to last long since the sky over there is clear.
Wow, that's like optimism in a sentence.
Damn right. You see, the rain is going to last for about 3 hours, but then we'll be home free.
Yeah. I heard the sound of the rain pattering on the rooftop and the raindrops jumping into puddles. It sounded loud, but it made me feel strangely calm.
Oh, good.
I zoned out for a moment, then Rena talked to me while looking up at the rainy sky.
I was worried about you. Because you look so down.
All the baseball team members knew I was depressed because I hadn't seen Satoshi-kun recently. Most of them attend the school in Hinamizawa.
So do you think that when it's Mion, that she has to act like she's infatuated with Satoshi-kun?
Well, I mean, this is probably what we're meant to be looking at when we go back to Arc 2 and we're like, which sibling is which?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think that there's a part of me that wants to go back and gauge who's who in Watanagashi based on, like, purely the scheduling of, like, all right, well, this would be when, you know, Shion's arranged for Mion to be out of the way or whatnot. But another part of me wants to actually look at the way they act in scenes.
So you haven't done that yet? You haven't, like, gone back and tried to...
No, I was waiting explicitly for an arc like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, some people would say, like, oh, well, you're just waiting for the answers. That's a little bit lazy there. But I think that the ambiguity is so intended in Watanagashi that it probably isn't given an explicit solution.
That's right.
We're more meant to be given the pieces of how to unfurl that. And, like, I'm fine with that.
Who knows? Maybe there is a solid timeline that you could draw out. But who knows? Who even knows?
I kind of doubt it, honestly.
I'm going to give it a go.
I will give it a go, like, you know, by the recap of this arc, but, like, I do not think we're getting a solid answer.
For sure.
I'm putting my fucking money down. We are not getting this is who when.
I reckon I could give it a go, but we'll talk about that in the recap. It'll be a good time.
Most of them attended the school in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't surprising that she knew as well. I hadn't been able to contact Sis these past few weeks, but I was sure she had an idea of how I feel about Satoshi-kun and how I would feel if he didn't come to his baseball practice. Sis was probably pretending to act a little depressed during her day-to-day in Hinamizawa to avoid creating a big gap between our moods.
There it is. There's the explanation to the question.
Exactly. See, these are the kind of clues that we need to pick that nonsense apart.
It's true. It's true.
Because now my immediate reaction is going to be that, like, all of the times we're in a Kinamiya is probably just Shion, and that's the hardline distinction.
There you go.
Until we get to that scene where she's coming down after the festival drunk.
I see. There you go.
But neither of us knew the details about the other right now. So she wouldn't be able to answer if others asked her what was wrong.
No internal communication. The downfall of any good business enterprise.
Exactly. She'd only be able to say, leave me alone.
The Shmion Enterprise, spanning 12 galactic systems. In Hinamizawa.
Is that what that whole thing about spaceships crashing into Hinamizawa was in the first arc? It's foreshadowing the Sonozaki Intergalactic Empire.
The Shmion Intergalactic Empire specifically.
Because they get rid of the rest of the family by the time they get that far. Of course. That might lead more people to become worried. Rena must have thought Mion was depressed.
Oh no.
That must be why she came all the way to see me. She must known. Took me a couple of tries to realize that was a typo.
She must known.
She must known what was going on because she knew that I was at the baseball field.
I don't think it's addressed in the anime whether or not Rena, like, knows what's going on here. I like to think that that's what she's probing for, though.
That's the other thing is when we get into Arc 2, like, Rena's reaction is so like, oh my goodness, Mion has a sister?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my, I'm shell-shocked.
I'm more thinking about this scene here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, in my head, what is the scene where Rena, like, figures it out? Because I feel like that has to be a thing. She's a detective.
Smart little cookie.
She's a smart little detective cookie monster. Yeah. Anyway, we'll find out, I'm sure.
Did you see this line, Ben?
I did. Do you feel lonely because Satoshi-kun is avoiding us?
Us. Having deduced what's been going on with Satoshi-kun from what she just said, he'd been distancing himself from others lately because of exhaustion. That's what it sounded like, at least.
Makes sense to me. He looked like he was very worried about Sadako-chan. I think he's really on edge. I feel bad for him.
He really cares about his sister. He has a lot of courage. What I'd said sounded hollow.
Because it was.
That's true. As I knew too well how much of a burden Sadako had become.
Get wrecked, Sadako. How dare you exist?
Yeah, it just simply the worst.
It's not okay to exist in this world. Straight up. But I think you'd feel even worse if you also look that depressed. I think.
Damn, that's fucking Rena right there.
It is.
I don't want that.
I know. But if you really don't, then you need to smile for him. Otherwise, he might really feel cornered.
Dots.
I know you're strong. You can smile, even if it's just pretend. So I want you to smile no matter what. You know that lies can become true sometimes.
What she was saying, in a nutshell, was this. Both Satoshi-kun and Sadako were totally wiped out. If Mion was also depressed, even though she's the sort of person who usually lightens the mood, the situation would be stuck in a vicious cycle. Rena sounded more like she was trying to give me advice than trying to console me. She must be more mature than she looks.
Is it time for the quote? Oh my goodness. Is it flame time?
I don't know what you're on about.
Is it flame time?
I'm excited. What's happening now?
Wait.
Okay.
There's a quote that I'm looking forward to, and I don't think it's in the anime, and I'm hyped for it.
Sis told me that she was a funny girl with a few bad habits. But she seemed to have another very mature side to her.
Do you love Satoshi-kun?
Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have told her that. I immediately responded.
In that case, why don't you smile?
Rena smiled herself.
I believe Satoshi-kun will feel better if he sees your smile. I know you feel powerless now, but your smile will give him strength.
I know what you're saying, but it's not that easy. Rena giggled and nodded.
He'll come back after he's done with his part-time job.
His part-time job? I almost asked that question, but I managed to stop myself.
You should know that.
From the tone of Rena's voice, it sounded like it was something everyone knew. His part-time job, huh? I wonder when it'll end.
Until he has enough money, I guess. But he'll finish by Sadako-chan's birthday at the latest.
Here we go, I'm loving this. I tried to figure out what was going on from what she said. I had to listen very carefully to uncover the whole picture. Satoshi couldn't seem to be working in order to make some money. I don't think it's easy to find a job when you're still in school. This might have had something to do with it. His job only seemed temporary, and it seemed to have something to do with Sadako's birthday. And it wasn't that difficult to figure out. Satoshi was working and saving up to buy his little sister something expensive for her birthday. He was trying to comfort her, even though he was so torn up himself. Sadako again. Satoshi-kun was already worn out because of her, and he was now working for her sake even though he was exhausted. How stupid. It'd be easier for him to just forget about Sadako.
So suboptimal, this love between siblings.
I know, if only we could game the system a bit more, yeah. God damn. Can we, is that the eyes I see out the corner of my eye? I was looking over at the audio controls on my left side here, and
So
I looked down at the screen, and I'm like, excuse me?
Oh, this is great.
You here in my house right now? Well,
I'm ready.
Not even my house anymore.
Fucking Rena best girl. Tisk.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Ready. Here we go. Here comes the line.
This is the most excited I've been for the eyes the entire story.
It's great.
I was startled when I realized Rena was looking straight into my eyes.
With her eyes, which are like a cat's eyes.
She was smiling, but her eyes looked creepy.
Ooh.
I never voiced what I was thinking, but she was looking at me as though she figured out that I was blaming Sadako. She beamed when she noticed my fear.
That's such a good line.
She smiled as though she understood that I thought that way because of love. She was giving me the creeps. I could hear thunder roar in the distance. That was not the sound of thunder.
That was like a bunch of drums being dropped off a cliff.
2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff. There we go.
There we go.
The rain began to pick up.
Do you feel jealous? I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment. It's a good line.
It's excellent.
Go, Rena, go. Do you feel jealous of Sadako-chan because she monopolizes Sadako-kun?
Oh my goodness.
It's fantastic.
It's such a simple trick too. Just like using a quote that they shouldn't realistically know.
No, yeah.
Because it was
Because it was said, yeah, for sure.
I avoided answering immediately this time.
It's fantastic.
But Rena seemed to know what I was thinking already.
I have the biggest smile on my face. This is great.
She's fucking pulled a Keiichi, but like over a distance too.
Before Keiichi.
I know, it's the best.
She's like the proto-Keiichi.
Proto Keiichi.
Yeah. I wouldn't be upset even if you did. That's just how it is when you're in love.
Oh.
It's how it is. I know
It's just how it be.
I know Sue.
People don't think it'd be like it is, but
That's
it
how
do.
it be. Yeah. That's how it do.
Thanks.
Oh.
You've never heard me say that before?
I think I have, but I've forgotten. You've been encouraging Sadako-chan despite that. That's admirable.
Oh, goodness. Now there's a contradiction in portrayal. Ooh, spooky.
You figured it out. Rena, you're too overpowered. You need a nerf.
Banned.
It's not true. More, please.
Of course I have. She's my friend. I sounded so fake. I felt like I was smiling while reading this incredibly tense line.
We're having too much fun here. We have fun here. All we can do is encourage Sadako-chan and Sadashi-kun. I don't know how to save them from their situation.
Sadako's relying on Sadashi-kun way too much. If she was stronger, he wouldn't have to suffer in her place.
Sure, she should internalize that feeling for the future.
You're absolutely right.
You sound really straightforward.
I don't agree. Rena nodded with an unflinching smile, even though my remarks could be taken as harsh.
Damn right.
What was this mysterious girl thinking? It was difficult to get a read on her.
Rena's just Rena.
Yeah,
don't
no,
worry about it. That's how it be.
Just classic old Rena. I don't even know who this is. I'm incredibly
not sure.
confused.
Hold on. What was the last line? What was this girl thinking? I think it is Rena. Maybe Sadashi-kun feels that way a little too.
Eh? Rena kept smiling, but her smile looked strangely cold.
I think he's tired of protecting Sadako-chan, and he's aware of that.
Given the type of person Rena is, I don't think she'd say something if she wasn't certain of it.
Ooh.
Because of that, she must have been confident in what she just told me. Why do you think that? Excellent question.
Let's find out. He said so.
Spooky. What? Sadashi-kun secretly confessed to her and asked me to keep it that way.
Sadashi-kun told me that he felt tired of protecting Sadako-chan. He was feeling guilty, though.
I don't think he would say something like that. But however, it wasn't likely that Rena was lying.
She hates lies.
I just met her, so I didn't know what made me feel that way. But my hunch told me that she was telling the truth. I heaved a huge sigh. Sadashi-kun must have gotten so tired that he couldn't help telling someone. Even so, even if he thought that way, he still wouldn't tell somebody so easily. Maybe Rena led him to do so. She might be capable of something like that.
Such suspicion.
She really does need a nerf.
No, she's perfect the way she is.
The other thing I love about this is that Rena's clearly like, yeah, Sadashi's really worn out from like helping his sister, and he's still gonna keep doing it because he loves his sister, and they're in such a tough situation. But Shion's gonna be like, oh, that's Sadako. Oh, she's the worst. How could she do this?
She's caused everything.
It's such an on-the-nose way of portraying the two-sided nature that the syndrome seems to give people on like what they hear.
Yeah.
I really love
how
it.
they interpret the facts objectively.
Exactly.
Which is exactly how Shion interprets all facts, of course, as we know.
I
She said
don't
so herself.
understand. This girl. It had only been a little while since we'd met, but I'd already started talking about something I was keeping deep inside of me.
Oh boy.
Does she have some kind of supernatural power to reach into people's minds and drag out what they're thinking?
I'd believe it.
I couldn't read that with a straight face. It suddenly hit me that I was sitting with this creepy girl in a tiny shack. I'd been dragged into her strange world. I don't think Sis has realized Rena's real personality. She thinks Rena is just a funny girl with some strange habits. She would have told me if she knew. It's so good.
It's fantastic.
I guess Sadashi-kun must trust you a lot if he confessed that to you. I'm a little jealous.
Now we're getting diplomatic. This is a fight now. This is great. It's not because he trusts me. I think it's because I've experienced the same thing.
Interesting. You've what? Did you also have to cover for your siblings once? The music stopped.
Those footsteps.
Oh, boy!
Those footsteps always follow me.
I'm sorry, what now?
They even came to my bedside and looked down at me.
Can we just shoot
Rubber fat.
You know,
This is great.
I was about to say that this is an interesting point to have been told, but it just occurred to me that we were actually told this because she'd seen Oyashiro-sama by her bedside, according to the psychologist's notes or whatever.
Psychologist report. Yeah.
Interesting.
They had looked at back in we were taught about that back in Arc 1. So it's not new information, but hey, maybe
It's
we'll
definitely
get something
reframed,
interesting.
though. We hadn't really been told that it was a connection to the footsteps yet.
Well, we weren't told about it from Rena herself, or at least not in detail.
We weren't
Back in Arc
we
1.
weren't explicitly told it was the footsteps. Been told that she saw Oyashiro-sama come to her bedside or something along those lines. I'll see if I can be bothered to go and actually get
go check that.
the script up. But I think this is the first time we've had it connected explicitly to the footsteps,
Maybe.
and it's the first time, I guess, that by extension we've had it confirmed that Sadashi's heard the footsteps, and that Rena knew about that, which I don't want to say it recontextualizes what she was doing for Keiichi in Arc 1.
It adds more to that conversation.
But, yeah, it adds
because
more to that.
The way that that's framed in Arc 1 is that she's like, you're doing the thing that says she isn't that weird. What if something bad would happen to you and I'm going to do that thing? But
Yeah.
it's a bit different here.
It's very interesting.
What?
Sorry, Rena. What are you talking about? This is how I felt reading the footsteps sequence the first time.
What?
I turned around to face her.
Did you say that? Did you say "wah" like audibly?
No,
Oh, well, that's just sad.
and got the chills. Is it the eyes again?
Please, eyes.
Eyes.
Fingers crossed. Yay!
Though she was smiling, her eyes looked ice cold.
Ice, baby.
I trembled and froze. I get it because it's ice.
Yeah.
With my eyes open.
Yeah, dude. Thematic, element, consistency.
Oh, don't you love it?
Have you experienced anything like that?
I can't say I have personally, Rena.
I guess not.
This is like those moments where you try to say a relatable thing to like your friends and no one gets it, and you're like, yeah, me
I
neither.
guess not, lol. Probably. Wink you. Star.
She's laughing in her thoughts.
Aha!
Rena kept laughing self-derisively.
Ha 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 ha.
I tried to figure out what she was saying.
She's rambling. Oh, God. Have you ever thought of leaving Hinamizawa
Draws gun.
and moving to a big city?
Draws second gun.
Have you ever thought of doing something like that?
Draws third
Draws
gun.
third
with the
gun?
foot.
Yep, here we go.
I didn't know how to respond. Rena waited for my answer, urging me to speak with her silence.
Damn.
No. I love it here.
It's so nice here.
It's
I love
excellent.
living here in Hinamizawa.
I spend
How
so
fun.
often in this town.
I spend so often?
Come here so often. I don't know.
The typos have wormed their way into our
I know.
frame of speaking.
It's such a shame, too, because they could all be fixed so easily with autocorrect.
I know they could. They could, couldn't they? They didn't have autocorrect back in the 80s, Felix.
There's just like a big red line under the video whenever we say something fucking stupid. There was a moment in Death of the Reader recently.
What happened?
Where I went to say something along the lines of, this was the like weapon in the fake suicide
Yeah.
of
A character.
a particular
Yes.
moment.
Yes.
But I said the murder of the fake suicide. And there was this particular edit that I had to make in that moment that meant I had to listen to that over and over and over and over again. It drove me fucking insane.
I was going to say, you internalize at that point. That sounds awful. Alrighty. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? You going insane listening to yourself, you damn fool. Nah, I knew that.
It didn't seem like a good idea to lie to her.
That is a bad idea, as we know from experience.
Rena has some kind of power I can't grasp.
Oh, are we there?
Yeah, conversation skills. Very, very high tier power.
It's true.
She can read people's minds just by seeing the slightest change in their expressions. So she's reading their faces.
She understands.
What?
She understands people's mindset when they look at her, and she's like, yo, I understand. You look like you're afraid.
It's like when people say that I
You're
sound like a
smiling.
psychopath because
are
I'm
you happy?
smiling in all of these tragic scenes.
Dude, that's the best part. Is that they can't see our faces. They don't know how happy we are. Except through our voice.
So I had to tell her the truth.
Uh-oh. You'll be okay, if that's true. Oishio-sama won't get mad at you.
Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama. That's Hinamizawa's guardian deity.
I've never heard of them before.
I couldn't understand why she mentioned that name. My mind stopped for a moment.
That's right. Oishio-sama.
She calmly repeated the name as if trying to teach me something.
Very important that you don't get murdered or nothing, you know. Don't worry about it.
Don't let it happen.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't let it get out.
I remember.
Don't let it get out.
Oyashiro-sama never allows heathens to desecrate Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama never allows the villagers to leave either. Those are the rules. Slowly, I recalled the fear of the curse which supposedly caused the dismemberment murder and the death of the Hojo couple. When I was sent to the institution, I had this fear. I was scared that if I went to that faraway boarding school, I'd fall under the curse. But I should be okay. I escaped from the school and returned to my hometown, to Akinomiya to be precise. But it should be okay according to the kids' rules, because I love Hinamizawa. The hag forces me to live this suffocating life, but I still chose to stay in this place. I don't believe I'm breaking Oyashiro-sama's rules. Even though the Sonozaki family had selfishly banished me to a remote place, I came back here anyway. Oyashiro-sama should even bless me for that. I guess I'm trying to convince myself that the curse doesn't apply to me. But I think I'm still afraid of it.
It is kind of strange that the Sonozaki family, which should be aware of the curse and how you're not supposed to leave the village and all that stuff, would send their daughter away to some private school in the middle of nowhere.
Man, it's almost like Ario didn't want her to be alive in the first place.
Oh, that's a dark turn of events.
It's
isn't
also
it?
explicitly what was said earlier in the arc.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I love this place, so I don't think I qualify for Oyashiro-sama's curse. You could even call me a model villager. I get it because she's not a real villager. She's just a model.
It's true. She is just a model.
It's only a model.
But she doesn't get a sprite or anything. Yes. I think so too. But I'm not sure about Satoshi-kun.
Why?
Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away.
Oh.
Even if only unconsciously.
I gave an inaudible cry. While I was feeling sad that Satoshi-kun hadn't shown up for practice, he still lived in Hinamizawa, so I'd never even considered the thought of him going away. Are you saying he wants to skip town?
Yes. He's not aware of it himself, though. He probably didn't even notice it until Oshiro-sama stood by his bed.
I still had no idea what she was talking about. I continued trying to figure out what she was saying. Man, it just reminded me, I'd nearly entirely forgotten about it, but
what have you
back
remembered?
in Arc 1 when Keiichi, his dad was like, oh yeah, Rena came over to visit.
Yeah.
Part of me momentarily thought oh yeah, it's probably just Keiichi hearing Oshiro-sama coming to his bedside, but no, his fucking dad spotted it. Oh no!
Oh no.
Because that either means that Rena did actually come over to visit and Keiichi forgot about it or whatever. Or it means that maybe Keiichi's dad is affected too.
There you go. Maybe that's the twist.
And he's also fucking hallucinating because he leaves town so often.
Maybe.
Oh my god.
Who knows?
It's so many layers deep.
So many layers, too many, I would say.
I would agree.
Everything he's going through is a sign of Oshiro-sama's curse.
Now that's a bit presumptive.
You feel like someone is watching you from a distance and it follows you. Then it watches from right behind you. After that, you start hearing an extra footstep. It only happens outside at first, but you start hearing it even inside your house after a while. Then, Oshiro-sama keeps watching you even when you're sleeping in the dark, right by your side, waiting silently for you to admit your sin.
What's the sin, Rena?
Satoshi-kun told me he was having nightmares at first, so I asked him what kind of dreams he was having. And those dreams he was having, as it turned out, were just like mine. I warned him that the presence would become bigger. He'd hear an extra footstep and feel the presence watching him in his sleep. I told him to come to me if that ever happened. He must have been suspicious at first, but just as I predicted, he started to feel Oshiro-sama's presence more strongly. He finally realized he could talk to me about it.
Rena didn't look like she was joking. She just calmly told me what had been going on. I couldn't even move. I couldn't tell if her words were a joke or the truth. I could only feel stunned.
I'm from Hinamizawa originally, but I moved to Ibaraki Prefecture right before I went to elementary school. However, when I couldn't adjust to my new environment, Oshiro-sama frequently started telling me to return to Hinamizawa in my head. But I couldn't do anything since I was just a little weak kid. I was forced to live there, though. I felt threatened by Oshiro-sama's voice. Then...
Rena paused. It looked like she didn't want to go into the details of what followed. In general, she confused me even more.
Anyway, I was able to come back here in the end. Oshiro-sama forgave me. I haven't felt his presence anymore since then. Satoshi-kun was being subjected to the curse even though he's in Hinamizawa. Why? There can only be one reason.
Irie.
It's because he wishes to abandon Hinamizawa. Oshiro-sama won't allow that. After a series of inner monologues, he confessed. You know he's working part-time, don't you? The teddy bear he's getting for Sadako-chan costs about 100,000 yen.
Can we get a conversion on that? It's $1,000 for a teddy bear?
This is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Must be a big-ass teddy bear. And he's trying to get the money by her birthday.
Oh boy.
Have you noticed it yet? Think about it like this. If he had that amount of money, that'd be enough for him to run away somewhere far from here. He unconsciously started to think about that. About leaving Sadako-chan behind.
This is not the impression I got of what happened to Satoshi from everything we've heard about him, disappearing.
Well, that's a good question.
Everyone seems to think that he didn't run away in the following in the following year, but it seems to be explicitly the opposite here with Rena. Also, while I'm tangenting, if Rena had so much, knowledge of the footsteps, did she broach it with Keiichi and we just not see that in the earlier arcs, or did she just not broach it with Keiichi even though she supposedly knows about it? I'm feeling some suspicious inconsistency here, and I'm wondering why.
Who knows? We should definitely check the tapes on that one, I think.
It's my job.
I know.
Can you stop telling me to do my job?
I know, it's a pain. But he feel very guilty. As he pointed out, Sadako-chan is a burden on him. He's not stupid, so he's aware of that. He just doesn't want to admit it because he's the one who's supposed to protect his little sister. He's been struggling with himself. He thinks he's working to please Sadako-chan on her birthday, but he also feels that he might be deceiving himself because he unconsciously wants to skip town with that money. I don't think he should run away. Even if he did, he'd regret it for the rest of his life. Hoshio-sama knows that. That's why Hoshio-sama is trying to warn him. I hope Satoshi-kun stops thinking of abandoning Sadako-chan. He's working hard to make it to Sadako-chan's birthday, which is a couple of days after the World Tanakashi Festival. He's pushing himself too hard. He believes it'll end when Sadako-chan's birthday comes. The curse keeps cautioning him, while he tries to figure out whether he should leave or continue protecting her.
Big spooky. It's such a strange monologue.
It's fantastic.
It's entirely in character, but in such a different light as well.
It's fun watching Rena monologue in that way, because she started to do it in Arc 3, but Mion stopped her. And now we get her full thought process of what's happening. What does Hoshio-sama mean to me?
I'd love to get the Rena in a monologue for when we went into Sadako and Rika's house in Arc 2, and she's doing all the fucking detectiving.
All the math in her head. Yeah, for sure. Because she's got to be doing that all the time, right? Surely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that she's, supposedly saying that the curse doesn't affect her anymore.
Yeah.
When the way that it's portrayed to us seems like she's the one that has something wrong with her.
For sure.
It's a very interesting way of framing not only the, the way that the curse itself works or Hinamizawa syndrome works, but also it's an interesting maybe deconstruction of the way that we see other people, that we always assume that our thought process is correct and it's everyone else that's insane.
Yeah, totally. It's a matter of perspective.
Exactly. The torrential rain didn't seem to want to stop. It kept pouring down on the galvanized iron roof, producing a loud noise. Yet in the shack, it fell completely silent. What the hell was Rena talking about? I couldn't grasp even half of what she was saying. The only thing I had figured out is that Satoshi-kun was struggling, confused, and in lots of pain. He's suffering from Oyashiro-sama's curse. And Rena has experienced that before?
Also looking at how, obviously Shion is pushing a lot of the blame onto Sadako, and Rena is saying it's Oyashiro-sama, but it's also Satoshi. That's causing Oyashiro-sama, trying to have these different characters with their different ideas of causality, I think is very important. Especially now that we've been going over the same, it's Groundhog Day, right? We've been going over the same kind of frame of time a bunch, and trying to figure out what causes what's triggered by whose actions, that sort of thing is very much an important part of the story. And watching the characters in fiction trying to figure that out is it's quite entertaining, I suppose.
Yeah. It's such a excellent way to make the story so clear and
cohesive?
Confusing at the same time.
Yes. It's thematically cohesive, but also the plot itself is obfuscated by the different perspectives that we get from the characters.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
The Watanagashi Festival was Right around the corner. Damn, I thought we were going to get an actual date there. I was like, here we go.
It is, if I remember correctly, it's the third Sunday of Blasted.
Well, yeah,
what
but
month is
June.
It's on the same...
It's June.
Yeah, June. Yeah, of course it is.
But
I'm like, wait, what month is it? Hold on.
But
Yeah.
we don't know where we are right now.
Yeah.
Unless we've seen it and I've completely missed it.
I see what you mean. Yeah. It's funnily enough, it's on the same Sunday that Supernova is on over in Australia. So I always used to go with my other friend who was a big Higurashi nerd, and we just talk about Higurashi at Supernova. And I cosplayed Keiichi. It was
specifically
great.
the Sydney Supernova?
Yes, the Sydney Supernova.
Right, because they're all on all through the year.
You're right. But yeah, the Sydney one is on Watsunegashi. So I used to cosplay Keiichi quite a bit. I had the bat for it from my play. Anyway, continuing on.
Oyashiro-sama's curse had struck 3 years in a row. There was no guarantee that it wouldn't strike a fourth time. Satoshi-kun was subject to Oyashiro-sama's curse even now.
Apparently.
I also like that we're clearly getting the thing that, like, you know, Shion's like, oh, right, you know, the curse is obviously the one where everyone dies every year.
Yeah.
But Rena has a very different perspective on what the curse means as a whole.
Yes, the curse is something that drives you, or is it something that kills, or what is it? It's the fun part.
Was he going to skip town? Was he going to be the next victim of Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, he might disappear forever.
And watching Shion tunnel vision onto Satoshi is just, it's perfect.
Could I do something to prevent it? If I didn't do anything, it would all come to a hopeless end. I started feeling a sense of dread. I didn't buy the crazy story Rena told me. But if something really was happening to Satoshi-kun, which might bring about some kind of an end, I couldn't help feeling scared.
What would you do if anything happened to Satoshi-kun?
I don't know, just literally die.
Maybe.
It's true, isn't it? My instinct is always correct. I
always
give that a hard fail.
That's what Keiichi tells us all the time.
Exactly.
So it's just as true for Shion.
I decided to contact Mion despite the danger.
Uh-oh.
Mion got upset at first, but she had to listen to me.
Oh, so we've just cut away from the little Rena combo completely?
Well, no, the rain's still going, so clearly she's just like pulled a phone out of the fucking
phone out of the
bricks.
box. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a phone box at that bus stop, clearly.
It's the second one in Japan.
Yes. Pioneering. People go to take pictures with it, you know. That's where all this background art comes from.
Exactly.
Higurashi photographing. Oh, I recognize that image. We must have had that before.
Yeah, it was in the tea scene with...
yeah, I remember now.
At the end of Watanagashi.
We've had it a couple times.
Sis. What's going on? With Satoshi-kun? He looks really stressed out. I can't even talk to him. What do you mean? You don't know what's going on because you can't talk to him? Yes. Sorry. Sis, give me another chance to trade spots again. That's fine, but I'm kind of busy lately attending meetings for the festival. What are you planning to do? Another part-time job? I'm going to your school.
It's time.
Here we go.
It's school time.
This is what I was waiting for. This is when I was referencing... Was it this video?
I don't know, maybe.
I've just completely lost
Probably
track
this
of time.
video, last video, they're all the same, really.
This is the thing I was waiting for, is seeing whether they actually crossed the streams and went into each other's lives.
It's happening. It's happening. Here we go to the school. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna
ready.
play some basketball.
Is that going to be the end of the chapter? Just when it's
hopefully there we go.
God damn it.
Well, that was fun at least. We're going to the schoolyard.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're gonna play baseball.
Baseball.
We have some tips. Let's read the tips.
Let's read the tips.
Notebook, page 21 and 24. What about the 2 pages in between? Hey, it's a possessed bus stop sign. Yeah, the bus stop sign was possessed by Oshiro-sama.
That makes sense.
That makes sense to me.
Really, this entire arc has just been the perspective of the bus stop sign as it sees other people come by and have conversations.
Yeah. I would absolutely watch that movie. I would watch a movie about a bus stop sign that chats towards bus stop friends it just sees everything.
Is there a term for that, for shows that follow inanimate objects? There has to be.
There must be, right?
There's got to be a word for it. Notebook, page 21.
In we go. So I guess this is you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's definitely you.
I was thinking about the crumpled notes or
No,
whatever.
the ones. Look, Shion has some order in her life. She knows numbers.
Right.
She does
I see.
math. Sadly, she doesn't do math.
Wow.
All right. He's not a magician of math.
It's no wonder he's trying to save up fucking $1,000 for one teddy bear. He just doesn't. He just doesn't
He's read
realize
the
where
price
the
tag
decimal
wrong.
plate.
Yeah,
is.
he's read it wrong. It's actually only 100 or like 10.
What a fool!
10 and 10 cents.
Why don't I relate my encounter with that creepy girl in the rain?
Wow. Fucking get out.
Long pause.
There is definitely a rivalry between the fans of Rena Ryugu and Shion Sonozaki. I'm telling you.
I believe it. I believe it.
I'm just saying, if there are any Rena haters in the chat, in the world, get out of here or fight me in the comments.
I love that like Ryukashi's had the like popularity polls be like an actual
It's fantastic.
an actual factor in the story.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's a little silly, but at the same time
It
it's
makes
excellent.
so much sense, right? Like, ask the people of the world, which characters do you like the most? Which ones should I feature more, right?
But I also love the idea that like the popularity polls then compared to now,
Yeah.
like the volume of people that will have gone through the story since those popularity polls were a thing, and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
different it would be with the larger audience these
Yeah.
days.
Well, that's the fun thing, I think, is looking back on this as an artifact of time. Because, like, it doesn't date it in the way that, like, a reference to some dumb TV show would. You know, like the orange character from the Muppets or whatever.
Fucking having a dig there.
Yeah, I am. I'm toasty about it now. But like having a popularity contest, like that's something that will never go out of fashion. And it's something that it's kind of quaint, you know? And like having
Will a popularity contest never go out of fashion?
I don't think, why would it ever? People
you-
are always going to argue about which thing is better. Like people are going to argue about which spread on toast is better.
I suppose if you take it with that angle, that's
It's peanut
probably
butter,
true.
by the
I
way.
was thinking
It's
more
definitely
like,
peanut butter.
fucking reality TV where they become like fucking irrelevant nobodies
Oh,
after however
no,
long.
I'm not talking about reality TV. I'm talking about like when you make a thing and you're like, which character or which song or whatever do you like most? Like there are always people on this, like the Higurashi service that I'm on, that are talking about like, I have this this music track sorter for Higurashi or Umineko, and people just go in and they get given a bunch of tracks, like which ones do you like the most, and then you see at the end who picked what, that sort of thing.
It's just occurred to me, I still to this day have no idea what Umineko Online is.
I used it once actually. It's like a chat room, but you have a little
Right.
like it's in the design of the VN. So if you're in
okay.
the same room as someone when they're talking, you see a little sprite on screen.
Is that where all of those fucking memes come from, where
It's
the
a lot of
characters
memes.
just say a lot of
Yes.
dumb shit? Okay.
Yes, because the way that it's designed, you can load in any character from Umineko, and then you type in your own stuff, and you can move from room to room in the house, even though there is no real structure to that place.
Hinamizawa Online when?
Please make it somebody, some wonderful person. I just want to be Rena and tell Shion to I'm gonna lay the smackdown on her or something. It'd be great.
It's
None of
just,
this
it's just
mysterious-
Ben and no one else in the room, and he's just
Yo!
talking to the background of fucking Mion.
Yo, get out of here, greenhead lady.
Fuck,
I'm way cooler than you.
You told her.
Yeah, get out of here.
Her name is Rena Ryugu.
Hell yeah, she's best girl. Here we go. Don't hear about how great she is.
Her real first name is Rena.
Damn right.
I have no idea what kind of girl she really is.
Best girl.
One thing is certain. She has no relation to the Sonozaki family. She has no relation to the three families as a whole either.
Why is she even there?
It's a good question. The Ryugu family used to live in Hinamizawa, but then they moved to Ibaraki. That was before she went to elementary school. They returned to Hinamizawa some years later. But Rena Ryugu said she came back because Oyashiro-sama told her to. I don't know what that means. I do like the
It's such
idea.
a real statement. Yeah.
I do like the idea that, like, fucking anywhere else, it's like you move somewhere and the kid's gonna complain, like, I like the old house better, until they get used to it.
Yep.
Rena's just the one child that managed to get her parents to cave and move
Damn
back.
right. I made up this dumb story about Oyashiro-sama and how like they would come to kill me or whatever, and so then I got back. That's how it works.
That's genius.
That's what I'm gonna do. See, kids, if you don't like what your parents are telling you to do, they tell you you should eat your broccoli. Tell them
it's a curse.
Oyashiro-sama told you not to eat your broccoli.
That's right. The broccoli will kill you.
everyone. Yeah, that's true. Tell them the broccoli is cursed, or that like soy sauce is cursed if you're eating it with soy sauce or something. I don't know why you would.
that Oyashiro-sama had stalked her.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Like a broccoli.
I think that was probably a hallucination, but Satoshi-kun had been interested in that experience. She said that. Satoshi-kun was also experiencing Oyashiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun told her that he was being followed by some unknown in existence.
Oh.
Existence is an interesting choice of word for that.
It exists.
He was surprised to learn that Rena had the same experience before. What is Oyashiro-sama's curse?
What is cloud gaming?
Excellent question.
These are all excellent questions. Maybe Oyashiro-sama is the curse of cloud gaming.
Why did Rena and Satoshi-kun have a similar experience? I believe that means that somebody put them under surveillance. Somebody must be spying on the next victim of the curse. That sounds true.
Sounds suspicious to me.
I'd bank on that one. Since Rena and Satoshi-kun both blindly believed in Oyashiro-sama's curse, they interpreted it as Oyashiro-sama's presence. If paranoia kicked in, they'd feel as if they were experiencing paranormal phenomena. Judging from what Rena said, it seems that Satoshi-kun had been put on surveillance since long before Watanagashi. So, one question comes to mind.
Oh.
Why were they watching Rena? I'm assuming that this surveillance was placed on a victim-to-be of that year. If so, I don't understand why Rena went through it. Why did they watch her even though she was living so far away? If she was considered somebody who abandoned the village, I could understand. But she didn't fall victim in the end. Maybe she was forgiven because she came back to Hinamizawa. I guess she still knows something I don't.
What? Nah. You know everything.
That's one of those tips that I feel like is meant to seem like it's just speculation, but is just 100% true.
Well, that's the fun part, isn't it?
Like, it makes a lot of sense in terms of the things that we've heard about Satoshi from the future, where we're talking about, like, you know, how he supposedly disappeared when, you know, everyone thinks in the future that he didn't run away. And then now when we get back to this, where we're talking about Rena's experience in Ibaraki, if that's even how you pronounce that.
Yeah, Ibaraki, yeah.
Then it definitely brings to mind how they were talking about the fact that, like, nobody pressed charges in what Rena did, which is a very strange thing to have happened unless someone was, like, supervising that, to my mind.
Yeah. You think maybe there were some strings being pulled?
Definitely. Especially when we compare what was just said to that particular incident. The idea that, you know, Rena was being watched. And, you know, I've addressed before the idea that, you know, someone, if they are doing this, is probably trying to maintain the illusion of the curse as a supernatural thing.
Sure.
And it would make a lot of sense that, like, they were keeping an eye on Rena and she was going to be the victim, but then she moved back to town and they're like, oh, well, this is a good way to support the mythos that, you know, she's come back to the town and thus she's no longer the, like, enemy of the curse or whatever.
So do you think that if, because she was gone for, like, a good couple of years, right? That's the impression I got, certainly.
I didn't, it was just before she started elementary school and she's what, like...
Oh, don't ask me about ages. They aren't even, like, written down anywhere.
Well, no. So, like,
anyway.
elementary school in Japan is, like, what, 6 or 7, right?
I think so.
So she would have been gone for a good long while.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's,
If you think that it is, this is a, you know, a curse that's being carried out by humans.
I definitely do.
Why would they do that in some town, urban Ibaraki? Like, why would they even bother looking outside of the town? Why would they care about that?
I couldn't answer that, like, confidently out the gate.
Because, like, we just heard it said that Rena, like, she's not associated with the three families. We haven't heard of, like, oh, wow, wasn't it crazy that Rena left? You know, anything like that. It doesn't seem like her leaving has really had much of an impact on anything, except for herself.
I think that's almost, like, that's the opportunity, right?
Okay.
If we deal with, like, an opportunity, motive, an intent kind of basis, then Rena moving away is an opportunity, because even though she's not, like, somebody as far as the village is concerned, if she was then to fall victim to it, that then lends credibility that it is like everyone in the village that is affected by this curse.
Okay.
And I think that, especially given the fact that Uishi seems to be the only person other than Rena herself who's really like brought it up, what happened with Rena outside of the village, that maybe it was explicitly targeted in that way to like bring the law enforcement more into question.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm definitely just spitballing at this point.
For sure. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how I could poke at that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it would be strange to pick Rena. Like all the other people who've been victims of the curse so far have been like associated with the dam project, right? Do we know anything about Rena being,
I mean, we don't know anything about Rena's family, which is very interesting to me. That definitely feels like a very explicit choice. As I was saying, with like the fact that she likes to go by a different name, that's one of those things that can feel like it means nothing, but will probably end up meaning something and will likely have a connection to that particular angle.
Maybe.
As for, I don't know. As for like who's been the victim each year, I mean, fucking supposedly Keiichi was like one of the victims in the fifth year, and he had fuck all to do with the dam.
I suppose so.
Same goes for holy crap, Takano and Tomitaki. Like they seem to have next to nothing to do with it.
All those characters are outside. It's like, well, I don't know. I'm just trying to think about why you would even pick Rena, because she is
the simple face value reason of why I would pick Rena is because she's a main character.
I suppose so.
Like that's why I'm even broaching this.
Sure. But
I then have to figure out why Ryukashi would justify that.
I suppose so.
And I don't think what I've said is particularly a massive stretch, though it definitely does have some holes in it.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Guess we'll find out. Anyway, we have another tip to
We
read.
do have another tip to do.
Go on. Maybe that'll be some illuminations.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
Page 24.
24!
Was 21 and 24?
21 and 24. Yeah. So we've skipped 2 pages.
I wonder what was on them. Probably some saucy drawings.
Nothing important. Probably. He says you couldn't use a baseball bat.
Oh.
Hold his baseball bat out for the world to see. All right. You're reading.
I'm upset with you now. I'm going to turn your mic off.
If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
Satoshi can look terrible. When he went home, he had to mediate a fight between Sadako and their aunt. He became mentally exhausted. He went to work every day. He became physically exhausted.
It's like double exhausted.
He no longer communicated with his classmates. He's either slept on his desk or was gone somewhere during lunch break. Oh, so she's actually like gone to class now.
Apparently, yeah.
He used to be really gentle. It was painful to see him suffering like that.
It's so strange that you would put that like in a tip, but anyway. I find it weird, personally. On a personal level, I feel attacked.
On top of all that, he was dealing with the curse of Oyashiro-sama. He must have been completely, totally and absolutely exhausted. That curse was a form of surveillance by those planning to victimize Satoshi-kun that year. That means that the other victim was in the same situation. Satoshi-kun's aunt had also been watched. Did she notice any presence? What about the others? Did the victims of the previous incidents also experience it? I need to investigate the facts in order to prove the curse on Satoshi-kun was actually just surveillance. Is it surveillance, paranoia, or really the curse?
There you go.
It's very strange.
It's fun. Fun way of phrasing that.
It's so weird that like it's Shion's diary that this is the perspective that we get this through. Like, as you said, this is a weird thing to like have in the tips explicitly.
Yes, it's very consistent. Generally, the tips have been just random bits and pieces of information from all sorts of different sources. But in this, we've only really had two types of tips. We've had Shion's notebook and the crumpled paper of Satoshi, like writing things down, I guess, like how he feels.
I will say in general, ever since Himatsubushi, the tips do seem to be like more actively engaged with the story. Like a lot of them felt very extraneous through arcs 1 to 3.
Yeah, which is how they're written, mind you. But yeah, they're more well structured, I think. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how the tips go from here. I've not read this far in the novel myself, but I imagine that they're going to get more so, more structured, more intertwined with what's going on. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Excited for more of Shion's musings on love and mystery and dancing.
I do get the impression that probably what has happened in Arc 2 was paralleling this arc. Like, as I've said several times, I am one of the only things I'm aware about in the answer arcs in terms of how they're structured is that they're not in the same order as the arc
that they're paired with.
As the arcs they're paired with.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me if like the actions that we're getting here with Shion paralleling how they happened in Wada Nagashi, because this is maybe the Wada Nagashi answer arc. Mm-hmm. Like, it's either got to be 2 or 3 because it's Shion, Satoshi, and Sadako seem to be like the main linchpins.
Yep.
But
although Sadako hasn't appeared on screen.
Well, yeah, currently. But like, Satoshi being the vessel for exploring further of how that abuse took place is what I'm saying.
For sure.
But I think that we're probably getting somewhere along the lines of that. In Arc 2, it was, probably Mion in the initial board game sequence because, that's like her thing. Then once we see Mion in quotations in town after that, it's Shion. And then at some point, Shion asks Mion to come to class in the same way that she's just asked in this arc.
Maybe, yeah. I should ask, actually. I don't know if I've actually asked you this, but, like, what do you expect an answer arc to be? Like, we talk about, this arc is related to one other arc, maybe. What do you kind of expect that relationship to be like? Just that we'll understand what was happening or what is happening? Like, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting parallels in the same way that I just mentioned, where, like, things will be, like, lined up in a way that they kind of expose how things were probably carried out. But I'm not explicitly expecting one arc to be like the same events as another arc, giving answers from a different perspective. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but that's not what I'm expecting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, there's other thoughts that I have on what the answer arcs will be in regards to like how much of an answer they will give.
Okay. Throw them at me.
Like, I think that, especially given that they're called the answer arcs as opposed to Umineko, where like the what people refer to as the answer arcs aren't even explicitly named that.
Yep.
I think that we're going to get a lot more out in the open answers. Mm-hmm. But I still expect them to have like tricks like that. I am interested to see the pace at which those are delivered to us.
Yep.
I feel as though there's a lot of the mysteries that have not had as much screen time as perhaps I would think they should have, that we're maybe just going to get like spoon-fed answers to, that will be more the kind of thing that you go back and look on and say like, oh, this was foreshadowed here, rather than the thing that was explicitly built up as a structured puzzle.
Sure.
In the same way that a lot of the crimes and whodunits are in the individual arcs.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're definitely getting a lot more information, which is nice. You can see the inner workings of Hinamizawa as we go forward. I've been anticipating the answer arcs for a very long while now, which is nice. And yeah, it's a really good time getting to just read them. The anime does a decent job, but it arguably butchers the first 6 arcs in a really awful way, because it only really gives like an hour and a bit to each of them. A bit more for arcs 5 and 6. But I am looking forward to some certain parts. I didn't get what I was looking for in the bus stop scene. I'm waiting for a certain line, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I think we've said it in the comments a couple of times. We're probably going to go do the 1 to 6 part of the anime after reading Arc 6. And I think that there's a lot of stuff here that just would not translate well to TV. Like, there's obviously stuff, supposedly the unveiling of the Great Hinamizawa disaster at the end of Arc 3 is basically just like a throwaway line on a TV or something.
Yep. There's a TV like playing in the background, and we see Keiichi in the hospital bed, and it's like, that was a disaster. I'm like, oh, okay, that's messed up, dude.
Yeah, like on the one hand, one of the strong points of that sequence in the VN was definitely getting to see it from Keiichi's perspective and the utter confusion.
Yep.
but the amount of time that entire sequence would have taken to appropriately deliver on screen, I think wouldn't have been worth it, considering how like quickly they had to get through all of that content.
Yeah. Well, this is the age-old like visual novel versus anime, adaptation debate. Like there are a couple of stories I guess pick up the top of my head that are particularly egregious in this regard. Higurashi, Ubaneko, rewrites.
Yeah.
Rewrite is another particularly egregious example. They literally, because in key novels there's like an arc per character kind of deal, per heroine. They literally only have one like through line, like it's one timeline of events, and they just try and cram as much from each of the different character lines as they can into one, which really kind of completely ruins the point in Rewrite. Anyway, point is, I'm glad that they took the time in Higurashi at least to split it up into arcs and have the like repeating time kind of deal. I think that was a very good decision. But yeah, trying to get everything into as short a time frame as they did was just not possible. The second season doesn't suffer nearly as much because they literally had a whole season for just 2 arcs and a little bit, because they made a whole arc just for the stuff that Ryukishi asked them to put in because they'd missed it for the first season. And then Rei is also really good. I still stand by Rei as being like some of the best Higurashi stuff. And then that was it. Good thing they only made 3 seasons. Anyway, moving on from that.
I will say, shout out to Aspie. It's been a while.
Shout out to Aspie.
There was a discussion I had with Aspie, which I think he tweeted about after it, before one of the Rekenshima.org podcasts, back when those were a thing.
Yeah,
where he basically said that, like, as terrible as a lot of the anime adaptations have been of visual novels, particularly of Ryukishi's, the amount of love that they've brought to the original works means that they haven't explicitly failed, which I definitely agree with.
Yeah, I mean, that was my experience. The anime for Higurashi, changed my life and was like, you need to check out all the original stuff. And I was like, that's kind of dumb. Why would I read a visual novel? But then I started putting it in my play and I started looking for like sound effects. And I was like, oh, there's some really good ones in this visual novel that I can just have on my phone that you can't get anymore now. There's only like a Spanish version or a Japanese version, I think now. You can't get, they used to have the first 5
I was going to say Spanish was not the language I was expecting.
No. It is the Japanese one, I think. Although I know that the French translation is particularly good. But yeah, this is going on for a very long while. And I definitely want to like do a video just on like my experience with the anime for sure. But they used to have all the first 5 arcs of Higurashi on the old iPod there. And I only read the first one, so that's why I've read the first arc so many damn times. But it was a slow kind of snowball effect that got me to finally read the VN. I definitely want to talk more about how I feel about that when maybe at the end of this arc, I think would be an appropriate time.
Yeah. As
DU Music Box version plays in my headphones, I'm going to have to tell that story at some point, so look forward to that. Holy crap. Yeah, anyway.
Next time.
Next time.